Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Nanette and I am navigating my financial journey as I prepare for an upcoming layoff. This is a rather awkward liminal state of not feeling like an employee anymore because I'm soon to be laid off, not feeling like I'm retired because I have a job. I have commitments and all this work to be done, and wanting to be a retired person, but being a little bit worried that my retirement funds aren't quite enough to live off of quite yet. So it's been over a month since I have posted a video, and my money's sort of on autopilot, so I got away with not budgeting either one of my paychecks for the month of June. So we have lots of budgeting to do, lots of catch up to do. I have been ruminating and contemplating and finally implementing a few much needed changes to the budget, which I hope to remember to point out to you as we make our way through the budget. First and foremost, you may already see the first change if you have an eagle eye and a really great memory. I have stopped budgeting out my income replacement funds into future months. Instead, I have reconsolidated them back into an income replacement category group. So they're all sitting down here in my early retirement funds. This is the money that I will live off of immediately after my layoff. Right now I've got 6 months and some change out here, and I hope to grow this to anywhere from 12 to 18 months. So that I can postpone dipping into my retirement funds as long as I possibly can. And same, it probably goes without saying, but same would be true for not wanting to tap into Social Security until I absolutely have to. So that's one tiny little preview. I also have that actually, let me go back into that. This $5,000 amount, I did arrive on that after completing the $5,000 experiment. And the $5,000 experiment was trying to constrain my budgeting to $5,000 a month for cost, well, it was supposed to be cost to be me, but living expenses. But that was overcomplicating things quite a bit. I am wanting to strive for simplicity in all aspects of my life, but especially in budgeting. And that experiment really turned out to just be overcomplicating the process and taking a little bit of the joy out of budgeting. So that experiment is no longer. It served its purpose very, very well. It has absolutely increased my confidence in being able to live on $5,000 a month once I am retired. But I'm not retired yet, so I want to embrace the abundance that is the income that I'm generating as an employed person for as long as I am employed. What else? Oh, I did want to point out that the experiment had put me into a scarcity mindset, as has the impending layoff. So I really want to do my very best to really live in this abundance that I have right now and prepare for the abundance that I will have in retirement. One of the things that I'm looking forward to the most is the abundance of time. And I know that whatever you're doing, time has a tendency to get eaten up. So even when I'm retired, I know my time will get eaten up with whatever I'm doing. But right now, I almost value time more than I value money. So to that end, let's see if we can expedite the whole budgeting process. I think I can get a little bit long-winded, so let's just dive on in. I'm going to go backwards to June because I have not budgeted out either one of the paychecks. So what you're seeing here is my gross income, and all of the overspending is directly related to payroll. It's the payroll deductions and whatnot, and the contributions that I make to my retirement instruments. So first things first, let's reset the available amounts to zero. It'll take the money out of ready to assign and leave me with my net pay. I think we have a little bit more we can release. I've got some money sitting in Please Hold. This is a $1,000 gift that I received in the month, as well as $325.64 which is primarily interest from my high yield savings account, but also a little bit of cash back. So now, I wanted to release those into ready to assign. Sorry, my keyboard just wasn't paying attention to me. So now we have $8,716.13 that we can budget in the month of July. Let's move back in time and come back to July, and we actually have $9,000. So if we go over to our Reflect tab, we will see that we have $18.75 of cash back that has been earned so far in July. And seeing that we're on the 14th of the month as I record this, that kind of makes sense. Interest earned in my high yield savings account was $269.95. So again, that leaves us with just over $9,000 to budget out. Since it is the 14th of the month, we have done plenty of spending, and since we have done no budgeting, we have done all of it as overspending. Normally, my practice is to cover all overspending with money that has already been assigned for the month. But since that hasn't happened, we're going to do it all out of ready to assign. We've spent $2,589.14 so far. Well, we've spent more than that. What have we spent July? We've spent, July activity. Oh, this is only showing the activity. Let me unfilter this. Do I have to go to all to be able to see what I'm looking for? Yeah, I've already spent almost $5,500 so far in the month. And the overspending is a mere $2,589.14. So let's cover it and just be done with it. Now we can bounce through the rest of the questions for YNAB. First up is reality question. What does this money need to do before I get paid again? We've covered most of the living expenses, but we still have $207.59 for personal care and supplements. I'm noting that I've done a great job of getting my regular haircuts, but not so much on my massages. So I have plenty of massages pre-funded. I need to get something on the books. For work hard, my utility bills, my car insurance, and my lawn work, those have all already been funded because they already got paid for the month. Do good in the world, the only thing left to fund is $442.15 for my son's canteen account. Nothing to fund for the cat. Subscriptions need a mere $19.28. Looks like music streaming is the only thing that hasn't been paid yet this month. Did I cover that? Nope, I forgot to click the underfunded, so now I have. And then for business expenses, we have $15.07 to cover local business taxes and my Microsoft Office. I think this is shy of what it needs to be. I think I need another $30 in here in MS Office, but I'm not sure I'm going to renew the subscription right now because I'm not using it. So I'll leave that money sitting there and attack that when I make that decision. Now for stability, what larger, less frequent spending do I need to prepare for? Let's expand everything and do them one group at a time. Home insurance, property taxes, and solid waste and stormwater need $212.53. Gifts and Christmas need $200.79. In No Ships Will Sink. What do we need out here? We need some for tax holding. We need $1,451.69. Let me see what that is going to cover. First up, here's another small change that I made to the budget. I did decide to create an annual goal for this of $2,250, which is a little more than my shortfall was in 2024. This could be far less than what I need, but I'm not going to revisit that again until later in the quarter when I know my end date and when my severance pay is going to get, when that check is going to get cut. And spoiler alert, we're going to come back and revisit home maintenance before the end of this budgeting session because I have some projects that are going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Cat does not need anything else, and the only other subscriptions we have are the annual Apple TV and YNAB that need $17.54. business operations, for my variable spending categories, we need $13.54. And then we can move on to resilience, which I'm actually going to skip this category, this question. I already have 6 months and some change sitting out here, so that's good enough for now. Investments were 70% of our way through the target, 50% of the way through the year, so that's good enough. The creation question needs more attention. Play harder needs $336.93. That puts me in a good position for the fitness, the garden supplies, the dining expenses, and fun and adventures. Do good in the world. I don't have a target on the share the wealth yet, but I will as soon as I satisfy my 401k contributions. Once I meet that goal, I will revisit the do good in the world. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. We don't need anything in the help is here when you need it. That leads us to the wish farm, which I don't know if you've picked up on this yet, but I tend to overcomplicate things. And I love wish farms. I think they play a very, very good role. But I built one. The problem is that I built it when I'd already pretty much saved up all of the money in the home maintenance category group. So I'm not really going to use these. I won't spend out of them. So it doesn't make sense when I'm trying to simplify things. It doesn't make sense to fund it here and then have to move it all back into the home maintenance category group to spend, so that it'll all show up in the reports that way. So long story short, and then I'm going to go long story long, maybe. These all add up to $20,000 and $20,324. So here's where we go long story long, and I'll do my best to keep it short. But 5 years ago, I replaced my HVAC, and the unit that was put in was oversized. It's complicated why it happened, but I'm going to blame my ex-husband. Anyhow, cut to the chase, Nanette. The unit is oversized, which means that it is noisy. The vents don't, the ductwork between the system and the ductwork in the house don't match up quite right. So the worst problem is that it cools the air too quickly and does not dehumidify the house. So in the summertime, doors stick, they expand, everything's a little bit more damp than it ought to be, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, 4 years, I have been trying to get this system replaced, and also trying to get the upstairs zone separately from the downstairs. And none of the companies that I had come out and give me estimates could ever pull this off. As a matter of fact, they told me it couldn't be done. But lo and behold, the fourth company that I called this year is able to do everything that I asked, and they came in at a price that is competitive with what all the other companies were doing for only replacing the unit and not zoning it. So they are going to be able to split where the upstairs feeds, how do I explain this? Where the ductwork currently splits to feed the upstairs versus the downstairs, that is in the attic access that is above my one-story garage. Hence, they can easily get in there. They have the technology and the experience and the know-how to do this for me. I'll have a thermostat for upstairs, a thermostat for downstairs. They will cool independently of one another, and then heat in the wintertime independently of one another. And I should be able to actually be comfortable both upstairs and downstairs, instead of always being overly hot upstairs in the summertime and overly cool downstairs in the summertime. So that is the main problem that is getting solved. But there's also water damage on the wall that the HVAC system shares with the water heater. So at the same time, I'm replacing the water heater and upgrading to a tankless water heater, which I'm pretty excited about. And all of this, plus the drywall repair, the electrical work that needs to be done, and any surprises that come along the way, will come to over $20,000, somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,325. So let's go back to resilience, and let's make sure, not to resilience, to stability, and let's make sure that the home maintenance category group has enough money in it. I want to take at least another $3,000 and put it in here. If we go to our activity, we will see that I have already placed a deposit. You see a lot of plumbing stuff in here, but anyhow, the $22.75 is the deposit on the water heater. So we need basically about a little bit more than 18,000 left in, sorry, what I'm trying to say is there are an additional $18,000 worth of expenses in this project, and if I put that 3,000 in here, we'll have about 2,300 left in here. That doesn't feel like quite enough, considering the fact that my refrigerator has been giving me problems. These two appliances are going to be the death of me. My refrigerator has had 4 major repairs, and the ice maker just went out. I'm living without the ice maker for now because thankfully I'm not big on ice. But it has, I certainly don't want to replace it, but I definitely want to have enough money to replace it if I wanted to. So I think I'm going to go ahead and tuck the rest of the $498.58 in here. The other thing I had contemplated, I don't think it has to come to that, but I had contemplated taking some of the money out of the early retirement funds to cover the home maintenance stuff, but I think we're already in good enough shape. I'll still have about 2,800 left in here, and that's close enough. Actually, the cost of the refrigerator was 2,800. That's what I paid for this refrigerator 3 years ago. And if I had to, some of the repairs that have occurred under warranty, so I didn't have to pay for them. If I had to pay for them, we're approaching $2,700 worth of repairs on that fridge. So I think all major systems have been replaced on it. It was, I blame it on the fact that it was, I think it was built during COVID, and I know that manufacturing was just having issues then, but the other appliances that I got at the same time did not have the issues that this one has had. But let's go back to creation again. I just want to celebrate the fact that I have finally found the solution to these two problems, the tankless water, the water heater, and the HVAC. So let's just get excited about that. And let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. I think I've covered everything but the 2025 goals. We'll make this as brief as possible, but let's go ahead and expand everything out. I have made half of my charitable donations for the year. I'll tell you more about, I'll share some pictures on that in my next video. But the big donation that I've made so far is to a local agricultural nonprofit that is building a fun garden for kids. That is a vegetable garden which also has climbing equipment and seesaw and playhouse and all kinds of fun things for kids, so that kids can get more immersed into the practice of growing food. So I'm really, really supportive of that project. I'm on target to cover my son's canteen account. His spending is just about in line. I thought he was overspending, but he really isn't. He spent just under 50% of the costs that we're setting aside this year. Home maintenance, we have, oh, we're only at 99%. We have $23.41 to go. I'm gonna have to move some money around and meet that target. We'll just cover it in the next one. Home and car insurance deductibles, we're well ahead of 50% on that. We've met the health insurance deductibles goal for now. We might expand that one when we meet the rest of the goals for the year. BWM reimbursement, I've earned all of the $1,600 worth of credits. I just haven't claimed them yet, so maybe in the next month or two I'll get moving on that. I don't have a target on the early retirement funds, but I do have more than 6 months out there. Investments, I'm 70% of the way to the target at only halfway through the year. A little behind schedule on the stock purchase plan because of a payroll snafu that I have to admit that I contributed to it, so gonna just live without meeting that target for the year. HSA contributions is equally as short. That one I will be able to come up to speed on that one on my own without being dependent on payroll. 401k, we should meet this goal within 3 paychecks. So next paycheck comes tomorrow, and I'll try and get the video out for that paycheck by the end of this week. If I haven't mentioned it already, I'm recording this on the 14th of July. And then we've already met the catch-up limit. In previous videos, I had said that they stopped taking out contributions earlier than I thought they should have, but they did it exactly when they should have. I just had an accounting error on my end. I had counted something towards the standard limit that actually was for the catch-up limit. And last but not least, my traditional IRA, we met that target earlier this year. So we're looking in really, really good shape on the 2025 goals. We've budgeted out all of the money. July has 0 in money in ready to assign, as does June. So we have reached the end of the budgeting session. It looks like I have a little bit of room for expanding some of my targets through the rest of the year. I'll probably wait to mess around with them until the 401k contribution gets maxed out. So I think we're going to call it a wrap. Thanks so much for being here with me. Appreciate you watching. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe so that you'll see future videos. I hope you've enjoyed spending a little time with me. I certainly am glad you're here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye now.